Alright, you lot. This one ain't drama. It's not outrage bait. It's a fucking obituary. Because XDefiant didn't die from bugs. It didn't die from balance. It didn't die because some devs phoned it in or forgot how netcode works. It died because it wasn't allowed to live. Because it wasn't built for storefronts, synergy charts, or seasonal drip feeds. Because it dared to be real in an industry that only rewards synthetic. No clown skins, no anime collabs, no engagement funnel to keep you pacified while store harvest your soul. Just a shooter. Fast, responsive, raw. Made by people who actually gave a shit. And that made it inconvenient. So suits didn't back it. Players didn't stay. And now it's gone. Quietly. Unceremoniously. Erased like it never fucking mattered. Well, it did. And if you're watching this thinking, shame, game had potential, sit fuck down, because this into tribute, it's a reckoning. Let's talk about how we let this happen. XDefiant were never supposed to make headlines. It wants some flagship darling with Super Bowl trailer and 10-year content roadmap. It was a spare part, a leftover, might as well project. Slotted between investor calls and Assassin's Creed updates. Not because Ubisoft believed in it, because they had a gap to fill. No tie-ins, no synergy, no loot box roadmap, just a weird scrappy little PvP shooter that somehow got greenlit. And against every odd in fucking book, it started to catch fire. Not because of marketing, not because of Twitch drops or pre-order gimmicks, because when people played it, they felt something we'd lost. Freedom. No SBMM suffocation, no predatory retention systems dressed up as player incentives. Just movement, gunplay, maps, skill. That friction-heavy, sweat-soaked earn-your-kill PvP that made shooters addictive before they became slot machines. It were rough, yeah, it wasn't polished, but it had soul. And when it landed, people noticed. 1 million players in 3 hours, 11 million by summer, no creators, no hype machine, just word of mouth. Because for a brief, glorious moment, this thing played like shooters used to, before genre became a marketing spreadsheet with gunskins. It worked. And Ubisoft? They did fuck all. No spotlight, no celebration, no plan. Because this wasn't part of their schedule. It wasn't on Q3 roadmap. It didn't come with a franchise synergy pack or influencer contract. It was too real. And when a game succeeds without machine don't cheer. It tightens noose. Devs knew what they had. Ruben knew. Players felt it. We were in there, sweating, learning, arguing over loadouts like it was 2007 again. But upstairs, note. No roadmap, no expansion plan, no infrastructure ramp up. Just silence. Like they were waiting for it to fail. Like supporting it would have been some kind of admission that this weird, unsanctioned side project outperformed half the fucking portfolio. They didn't back it, they were burying it in real time. Then came May. No influencer circus, no Twitch key hysteria or anime crossover spam, just fucking launch. No buzz, no fanfare, just a button-up menu and a flood at gates. XDefiant went live, and despite everything stacked against it, leaks, silence, PR vacuum, it erupted. Millions piled in, servers folded, netcode wept, it-reg went on strike. People teleporting like it were fucking Dragon Ball Z, but nobody cared. Cause core was solid, it felt like a shooter again. Movement that responded, gunplay with weight, maps that rewarded thinking, not hiding behind a seasonal gimmick. Yeah, it had a battle pass, yeah, it had 4 more bundles, yeah, XP grind could make a grown man cry, but it wasn't manipulating you. It wasn't dangling loot behind your pain receptors or hijacking your dopamine with slot machine unlocks. It was just a game, built to be played, not farmed, and people loved it. And Ubisoft? They stood there with their thumbs up their ass. No marketing push, no campaign ramp, no dev spotlight, no roadmap drop, no creative strategy, no scaling infrastructure. Note. They stared at a game that had won its audience by being fucking good, and they walked away, like it were a fire they were hoping would go out on its own. And then, leak. August 2024. Tom Henderson drops a piece calling game a mess. Morale shot, pipelines bleeding, leadership's vanished. And just like that, perception flips. It don't matter that devs are still pushing patches. Don't matter that updates are dropping, issues are being tackled, feedback is being heard, because now audience smells blood. And Ubisoft? They just disappear. No statement, no reassurance, no pushback. Just a giant fucking shrug while community panics. Reddit goes full apocalypse, streamers pull out, Discord fracture. And players? They do what they always do. They leave. Because game's broken, because it's uncertain. And in live service, doubt is death. It's not bugs that kill game, it's gap. That horrible echoing silence between a problem and a response. Because if devs aren't talking and publishers not backing them, then players assume worst. An assumption becomes reality. Not because it's true, but because it's louder. We stopped defending game, stopped believing in comeback. We weren't playing game anymore, we were grieving it in advance. There were no in place to catch it, no support net, no cadence, no message. Just a slow, quiet fade into one thing live service can't survive. Silence. December 3rd, no live stream, no farewell montage, no dev AMA. Not even a fucking tweet. Just a sterile blog post dropped like a used tissue midweek. New downloads disabled, refunds issued, servers closed in June. That's how it ended. Not with dignity, not with honesty, just procedure. No tribute to devs, no message to community, no emotion, no closure, no fucking spine. Just a clinical pull-up plug, as if this thing hadn't mattered. Like it hadn't broken a 1 million player record or brought arena shooters back to fucking life for 5 minutes. And if that wasn't enough, they shut down Ubisoft San Francisco. Whole studio, devs, designers, heartbeat at game, gone. No send-off, no thank you, no we tried, just erased. Scrubbed like they were a rounding error. Because that's what happens when a game wins accidentally, when it succeeds outside system, when it makes people care and don't ask for permission. Suits don't rally, they panic. And Ubisoft? They're still silent. Still pretending this wasn't only shooter they've released in fucking decade that meant something. Still acting like we won't notice they executed best chance they had at rebuilding trust. They didn't even have balls to lie to us properly. They just issued a refund and told us to piss off. But one man did speak. Mark Rubin. Tired, gutted, honest. He didn't spin it, he didn't dodge it. He told truth. That team gave everything and got no back. That they delivered, that they cared, that they had something worth saving, and people in charge let it die. It wasn't some tragic misfire. It wasn't one of those things. It were a decision. A cold, deliberate execution. And worst part, suits who made that call, they'll move on. They'll pivot. They'll build PowerPoint decks about live service lessons learned while sipping cocktails made from other people's crushed fucking dreams. And people who made game, they're left with naught but grief. Cause what they built mattered, and it were erased. XDefiant didn't die cause it were broken. It died cause people who built it cared more than people who owned it. And cause people who played it didn't care long enough to fight for it. That's what hurts. Cause yeah, Suits bulk plug, they starved it to marketing, they ignored numbers, they shut fucking studio, but players, they left. When servers groaned, they didn't rally, they logged off. When netcode wobbled, they didn't support, they sneered. When leaks hit, they didn't push back, they believed worst. And when silence came, they didn't demand answers, they vanished. Now they're here posting threads, making montages, calling it underrated. You don't get to mourn a game you helped bury. You don't get to post RIP XDefiant like you were there in trenches. You weren't. You were on beach watching it drown. You don't get to say it had potential when you gave it 2 hours and fucked off back to whatever algorithm-approved dopamine shoot kept you warm that week. You don't get to say injustice if you let silence do killing. Because silence isn't neutral. Silence kills. If you want better games, you want devs to take risks again, you can't be passive. You can't spectate. You can't wait to see how it does before you commit. You have to show fuck up. Because what XDefiant proved, painfully, beautifully, is that there are still devs out there who believe, who want to make games with soul, with skill, with teeth. Games that make you sweat, not just spend. They didn't just build a shooter, they built a statement, a reminder of what genre used to feel like, and a challenge to fight for it again. But they were wrong. We didn't fight. We moved on. And next time Next time it won't matter how good game is, how tight shooting is, how honest devs are. It won't matter what they do if you don't stay. Because next one won't survive if you don't. Join Discord, follow on X, consider a channel membership. You'll see videos early, unfiltered and usually still smoking. Smash like it, subscribe, drop your comments and questions below. I might feature on my channel, if they're not complete bollocks. I'll see you next time, you magnificent.